Nick Baldwin for MMAJunior.co, here with the owner of MMADraws.com, Paul Fontaine. How's it going, Paul?
Good. How are you?
All right, so UFC Saskatoon takes place today from the Saskatoon Center. We're in Saskatoon, and the main event, a great main event, Max Holloway taking on Charles Oliveira, pivotal featherweight matchup. But we'll start off, Marina Moroz taking on Valerie Letourneau in a women's strawweight bout. Fairly important, Marina Moroz right around number 8 or so. Letourneau obviously unranked. Letourneau looked very bad at the weigh-ins yesterday. Missed weight the first try, made the 116 limit on the second try. What were your thoughts on how she looked at the weigh-ins, and who do you like in the matchup?
Like you said, I mean, she looked embarrassed that she missed weight for sure. I wouldn't say she looked confident. Marina looked very confident. She looked awesome in her first fight against Joanne Calderwood. First round knockout. I believe it was right, or was it? Yeah, knockout. Submission. Yeah, but I mean, she was taking her apart on the feet. I don't think it's going to be a long fight, and I think Marina's going to take it in the first round, probably by knockout. Definitely a finish, though. Yeah.
I like Marina Moroz inside the distance as well. I wouldn't be shocked if it goes the decision and Marina Moroz picks up a unanimous decision, but especially with Letourneau missing weight, looking very bad, very drained, I'm more confident in Moroz by submission or knockout now. Official pick would probably be submission in the mid through the fight, second round, third round, wherever. I don't think it'll end within the first 5 minutes, but definitely fairly confident in Marina Moroz. Next fight, a lightweight bout between Olivier Aubin-Mercier, who competed in the Tough Nations last year, made it to the finals, lost to Chad Laprise by split decision. He takes on Tony Sims, who's making his sophomore appearance inside the octagon. Who do you like in this fight?
I like Mercier by probably by submission. Second round, I would say. I think Mercier, I think he might have been a little overconfident in the Tough Nations finale. And we'll talk about the Laprise fight next. But I was actually talking to one of Chad Laprise's workout partners or trainers, and they really want a rematch. They think they want Mercier at the top of his game. And I think Sims is good. He's never had a fight go to the judges. But octagon jitters. Mercier's definitely going to have the crowd behind him at the weigh-ins. He was a huge favorite. Probably got the second biggest reaction after Patrick Cote. And I like Mercier here for sure.
I as well. I do as well. I think he stops it probably by submission, but I haven't been overly impressed with Aubin-Mercier. I think considering he hasn't fought the best of the best, David Michaud and Jake Lindsay, I believe, not the best fighters, especially Jake Lindsay. And he didn't dominate them. He stopped both fighters, but it wasn't like a one-sided beating. Far from it. David Michaud, I think it was Jake Lindsay that either took him down and David Michaud dropped him or something like that. Tony Sims has big knockout power, so I can't say I'd be really surprised if he gets the job done in the distance. But I have to side with the Quebec kid here. He's just a bit more fresh, I think, a bit well-rounded. I think his ground game will override Tony Sims' stand-up game and probably submit Tony Sims in the second or third round. Moving on, Chad Laprise taking on Francisco Trinaldo in the lightweight bout. Who do you like in this fight?
I like Laprise. Trinaldo's tough. This will be definitely the toughest test that Laprise has ever had. He's undefeated. I think he's 7-0. I see this going to the decision for sure. Laprise is usually kind of a slow starter. But, once he figures things out, he again looked very confident last night. Again, the guy in his camp that I talked to last night, they're very confident. They're pretty sure they're going to win, and they're hoping that, with a win over Trinaldo, that they may, get into the rankings. And again, like I said, they're really wanting a fight with Aubin-Mercier. Rematch with both of them at the top of their game. And I think maybe with UFC planning 3 Canadian cards next year, that could be a fight we see at some point next year.
I also like Chad Laprise by decision. Francisco Trinaldo is a guy that he gets it done. He wins controversial decisions, grinds decisions out, but he wins fights. So, he could win a split decision, but with the Canadian bias, you could call it that. Chad Laprise should win it. I don't think he stops Trinaldo. He's fairly durable. And similar to Aubin-Mercier, I haven't been overly impressed with Laprise just because I actually scored his last fight with Brian Barberena in favor of Barberena, 29-28. Most people scored it for Laprise, so not a robbery whatsoever. But I haven't been overly impressed. So Trinaldo, some people are looking past this guy, and he could just grind out a decision. Laprise is the better fighter, though, has good stand-up, very good stand-up, and I think he gets it done, outpoints Trinaldo, probably 29-28. Moving on, a welterweight bout between Patrick the Predator Cote and the People's Warrior Josh Berkman. Who do you like in this matchup?
I like Cote. I chatted with Cote briefly this morning. Actually, he looks good. I don't think he had a tough weight cut at all. Confident for sure. He wants to put on a good show tonight. I think it'll go the distance, and I think Cote probably unanimous decision. Berkman has not won in the octagon since 2007. So, he had great fights. His last two fights back in the UFC. The first one he took on short notice. The last one it was tough, but I definitely like Cote, the experience. Former middleweight title contender. Has fought in a couple pay-per-view main events. This fact that this is third from the top on the card, this is an underlooked card, and Cote Berkman's going to be a heck of a fight.
I like Patrick Cote as well. I think he just grinds out a unanimous decision here. Probably 30-27, maybe a 29-28 on one or two judges' scorecards. I definitely don't see Berkman winning this fight. He has skills, but he just can't put them all together. And Carlin Barsley, the parting shot, has a very good strategy. Never pick Josh Berkman in a UFC fight, and it works pretty well for him. So I'm sticking to his strategy. I'm picking Patrick Cote by decision. The co-main event of the evening, we have Neil Magny taking on Eric Silva. Who do you like in this matchup?
There's Silva right there. This could go either way. I think it's gonna. I like it to finish fast. Whoever's gonna win. I'm going with Silva. Just he's another one I talked to briefly today. He's very confident. Magny coming off a short layoff, I think that's going to hurt. Silva always comes out strong. When he wins, every one of his wins in UFC has been in the first round. So if Magny can get out of the first round, I would, if I was, and I am a bit of a bettor, but if I was betting, live betting, I would say, if it gets out of the first round, I'd go with Magny. But I think Silva's gonna finish him in the first round, and I think they probably get fight of the night.
It's all about whether or not Neil Magny can weather the storm, and I'm going to disagree with you here. I think he can. I know his chin isn't perfect. I don't recall who it was against, but he actually got dropped and rocked very badly in a fight couple back. He went back. He came back and submitted the guy in the third or so round. But I think he'll be able to weather the storm of Eric Silva, not get knocked out. And then probably submit him later on. Eric Silva gasses very badly in the second and third round. If not, probably win the second and third round and take home a unanimous decision or split decision. But submission is my actual pick. But Eric Silva, obviously, he has great knockout power. Could even submit Neil Magny. Neil Magny has very low submission defense. We saw that in his last fight against Demian Maia. But Eric Silva could definitely knock him out. That's your pick. But I will say he weathered the storm and it picks up a submission in the later rounds. The main event of the evening, a pivotal featherweight matchup between Max Blessed Holloway and Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. Who do you like in this matchup?
I like the fight. First off, this is a great fight. This is to me, this could be a pay-per-view semi-main event, and we're getting it for free on FS1. I've been back and forth on this, and the odds are pretty heavily in favor of Holloway. I probably lean slightly towards Holloway, but I'm not sure he should be as big of a favorite as he is. I love Holloway's style. He's on a 6-fight win streak. He's finished most of those opponents. He's the only guy to take Conor McGregor to the judges in his UFC career. But then Oliveira's on a 4-fight win streak of his own. He had a Fight of the Year candidate against Frankie Edgar a couple of years ago. I was looking at Oliveira's record, and his only losses are to Frankie Edgar, Chad Mendez, Jim Miller, and Donald Cerrone. That's a pretty murderer's row of lineup. I mean, gun to my head, I'd probably say Holloway, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Oliveira take it either. You know, I wish I could give you a more definitive pick, but you know, Holloway, we'll say.
For sure. Now, I like Max Holloway here. I don't think he stops Charles Oliveira, who has been knocked out in the past, but I like Max Holloway by decision. I think his movement, his advantage on the feet will really get it done. I'm kind of banking he'll be able to keep it on the feet without getting taken down several times by the submission artist. Obviously, Charles Oliveira by submission, not an unlikely circumstance. That definitely could happen. He has a great ground game, of course. Max Holloway, I think he's able to keep him on feet, just outpoint Charles Oliveira, and probably win a fairly narrow unanimous decision, probably 49-46, 48-47. That's about it. But I like Max Holloway in this main event. Now, who is your fighter to watch? Whether or not it's on the prelim card, maybe Sam Stout, who's riding a losing skid that he really needs to win. Maybe it's a guy riding high. Who's your fighter to watch?
Well, Misha Sirkinov on. I think he's fighting on Fight Pass. I've watched a couple of his fights in Hard Knocks fighting, and you're Canadian, so I don't know if you get the Fight Network, but you know, Hard Knocks they air on Fight Network, and he's a beast. Yeah. I really like him. And as for like just like an undercard fight in general to watch, I really like Krylov De Lima. I think that's going to be just a slugfest. De Lima, I don't think has ever been out of the first round. You're right. Yeah, and Krylov's never gone to the judges in his career, and they're both former heavyweights. So there's a lot to watch in the undercard. But yeah, I would say Sirkinov is definitely a guy, maybe future title contender a couple years down the road. He's a beast.
Who do you like in that Krylov De Lima fight?
I like Krylov. I know he's an underdog, but I think he's faced a slightly tougher level of competition in UFC. Obviously, De Lima's probably a little bit more experienced, having fought in Strikeforce before and going the distance with Mike Kyle, but and I think he lost that fight. But I like Krylov.
All right, thanks for your time, Paul.
Not a problem.
All right.